Hey everyone. So I had some comments on, I think it was a YouTube short that I did that showed how to make a character head. Um, and some comments said to go into more detail about it. So let's do that. So you come into Blender and in a new file, you have a cube, you have a light, and you have a camera. Let's hide the camera and the light for now, because we can deal with those later or in another video. Let's go into the cube. Let me turn on my screencast keys. Here they are, screencast keys. Turn them on. You can see me typing here. Let's go into the cube. To select the cube, you left click it, and then it'll have these orange lines on it, and that's how you know you selected it. Now we're in object mode. You can see that up here. We're going to hit tab and get into edit mode, and now the whole cube turns orange, and even like the points here are all orange. You can left click vertices to select them, and then with the vertex you want selected, you can hit G to grab, and that will stick that vertex to your mouse, and you can move it around. And if you left click, that'll place it where you want it. Or if you're moving it and you don't like it, you can hit right click and it'll snap it back it'll basically cancel it'll cancel that grab for you. And then G is for grab. And let's say you have two vertices selected. You can hit R to rotate, and that'll rotate those vertices, or you hit S to scale. And those are your three basic move functions. Select everything with the A key, and then we're gonna right click it, and that'll bring up this menu, and we're gonna subdivide it 2 times. So like all I did was everything selected, right click, hit the subdivide twice. And then there should be, I think it's F3, but I'm on a Mac and my keyboard's weird. So if I hit F5, it'll bring up this search menu, and I can search for anything, any function here. And I want to sphere. And when you hit enter after you've typed it, it will get you into that mode. So what it's doing now is, if I move the mouse to the right, it'll turn the cube into a sphere. And if I move it back, it'll turn it back to a cube. So I want it fully to a sphere. So then you left click to finalize it. And now you can see all our geometry is a sphere. I think I want to add more edge loops here. And how I'm doing that is I'll hit Control R, and you'll get this yellow line that shows up when you move the mouse around, right? So I want to hover over this edge right here, and it's going to make a loop cut across that edge. And then if you left click, it will bring up, it'll show you the vertices it's making, but you can slide them in between. If you left click at any part, it will place them there. But if you right click, it'll snap them into the middle of the surrounding edge loops. Let's do the exact same thing here. So Control R. Actually, I think if you just right click, oh no, that'll take it away. So you have to Control R, hover over the edge you want, left click, and then right click. So now we have more edge loops there. I think that's about it. Actually, I think I want to add them back here, and I'll show you why later. So when you have this yellow line showing, you can actually scroll upwards or downwards, depending on how your direction of scrolling is set up. So I'm going to scroll down, and you can see I can get 2 edge loops here. I can even scroll down and get a whole bunch, but I just want 2. Then I'm going to left click, right click. It'll center those. Let's go into wireframe mode. So if I hit the Z key, it'll bring up this menu here. I can go into a rendered view. I'm currently in solid view. You can go into a material view, but I want to go into wireframe, and that will show me all the vertices through the faces. So I want to delete these faces here because I want to create, I want this to be an edge loop for the mouth, like all the edge loops going around the mouth. And then I want this edge loop to be for the brow. And then we're going to create a hole in here for the eyes. Like it'll be like right in here and then on the other side too. So let's delete these. And then we'll extrude this out and scale it down. And we'll scale it. Doesn't really matter that much, I think, because we're going to smooth everything out later. And then I'm going to take these. So I'm going to select all of these vertices in the edge loop except for the corners here. And then I'm going to hit F5. For you guys, I think it's F3. And we want to search to bridge edge loops. So when you start typing it, it'll suggest them for you. Bridge edge loops is right here. So I can either type it all out and then hit enter, or I can just click it right here and it'll just perform that function. So now what I want to do too is I want, like, this face is a triangle right now and I don't want that. So if I add a loop cut here, that face will have 4 sides once we make it. Now we want to fill that. So to fill a face, you can double click and get like the surrounding vertices of an opening usually, or you can double click on an edge and it will give you the full edge loop. But right now I just want to double click, get all these 4 vertices, and then if you hit the F key for face, it'll fill in that face there. I guess F key for fill also. So I'm going to fill both of these, and then I'm going to scale that down, but I don't think we need to. I want to add 3 edge loops in here. We got this weird looking thing, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to come down here to smooth vertices, and without clicking you will have this menu that pops up. You can open it and this will give you the degree of smoothing, and then the iterations. So like I like to leave the degree at 0.5, and then I think that's good. I'm gonna smooth it like 10 times. So with it smooth now, we can hit F3 and we can click on to sphere, because since we searched for it before, it will keep that there, which is nice because then you can keep coming back to it. So we'll hit to sphere and we will move all the way to right until it becomes a sphere. So now you can kind of see we have an edge loop going for the brow here, and we have edge loops going around the mouth. So this will be the mouth. It looks big right now. I actually want to add another edge loop in here, and then let's just smooth it and then do the to sphere again. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Let's see what happens if we cut out the eye holes and then hit smooth. So see, that's kind of nice. It's weird, but we can fix it. So let's get this. You double click on this edge here and it'll bring you the whole mouth thing. And now we're going to use proportional editing. So see, if I scale this now, it's just scaling it, and I want vertices to move with it. So up here is proportional editing. You can hit O also. Now I like to use the connected only. So now when I scale this, you can see the vertices kind of move with it, and I can scroll up and down to change the influence. So like if I scroll down, less vertices are influenced, and if I scroll up, more are. So I want to move the cheek out, but I want the other side to move also. So we can do x-axis mirroring or symmetry. So up here under options, you can see the mirror here. Everything is grayed out. Let's hit the X, and now you can see if I move this vertice, everything will happen in the same way on the other side. So now basically I'm going to pull that in. Let's select these. I'm actually going to rotate the whole head so that the mouth is more perpendicular to the y-axis, or parallel. That's the right word. I just want to scale it down. So one thing about the way the mouth edge loops, I'm actually going to take this one out. So you kind of want, let's see, if I go from the top view, you kind of want the mouth, like the lips, to curve like this, and then you want the cheeks to kind of be flatter. So you can see this edge loop is flatter this way, and this one curves more, and that gives that I don't know, that just gives a nice cheek shape. When you smooth it out. Let's put that back. And sometimes it takes some time to just like get the shape, the mouth shape you want. But what's nice is if you have good topology, what you do is very forgiving. Let's add a subdivision surface modifier. So like over here, there's a bunch of stuff. The wrench here is the modifiers, and then when you go into that tab, you add modifier. It'll bring up a search thing, and then you can search it. You can search subdivision surface and then click it. I won't do it because I just added it. But then it'll come up here, and that will subdivide your mesh. This optimal display is checked. So like when you go into a wireframe, it's almost like nothing happened, just your lines got smoother, right? But if you unchecked optimal display, it'll actually show you all the geometry it's actually making. So now it's kind of looking like a fish. I want to make like a cat or a cheetah. So it doesn't look like that right now. But we're going to move some things around to help that. So you can kind of like bring these vertices to get like more of a chin. Pull out a nose. We kind of want the mouth to be a little closer to the eyes here. I want the whole thing to like squish. So we're just going to scale it down like that. I want the eyes to be bigger. I want to give it more of like a forehead here. Sometimes it's nice to bring in a reference. I should have done that, but I kind of just wanted to demonstrate how to create the topology here, and then what's nice is if you have this topology, you can kind of use this to create any other face that you want. Like let's say we build a cat now. The best thing to do is to get the shape you want before adding too much detail, because then you can save, like the best thing is to duplicate this head shape, and then you can use it later on. You can, let's say you want to create a bear that's very similar. Or you could probably even, like, let's say you want to create a fish. That's what it was looking like before, right? You can create a fish character out of it. And we've been going at this, I think, for like 15 minutes. That saves 15 minutes of your time. You just come in here, you have all your topology set up, and you just morph your face to what you want. And add some details, and you've saved yourself some time. I think a couple of the characters that I've created, I've been using this, like a similar head, instead of having to recreate it all the time. You kind of look at it from all angles and see if it's the right shape you want. So it's kind of looking like a cat. I mean, or a raccoon, it could be. All right, so that's good enough for now. Let's start creating the eyelid shapes. So up here, it's probably not turned on. It's not turned on by default, but you can get a statistics thing here to show you how many vertices you have. And to get that, you can go into this. There's like this Venn diagram looking thing here. And if you click the drop down, there's a statistics thing here, and you can just click that. Now you can see how many vertices you have, and it's just good information here. But right now, yeah, we have 8 vertices. What I want to know is how the eyelids are going to work for like for the shape keys, on how to like close it and different expressions. So like these 3 are going to be the top lid, these 2 are going to be the sides, and then these 3 here are going to be the bottom lid. And then this will be our brow here. So now we have like an eye socket. I'm gonna select, oh wait, actually, I'm gonna go into wireframe mode, and I'm gonna select this half of the face, not the middle vertices, just this side. And the way I did that, you hit B, and that's for box selection. And then you can just click and drag and get all of these. And I'm gonna hit X to delete them, and it'll bring up this menu here. I want to delete the vertices. So now those are gone. We can come over here to the modifiers, add a modifier, search. We're gonna search mirror, and that'll mirror all the geometry over here. Now it's not super visible, but if I crank up the subdivisions, you can see I'm getting this weird seam, and that's because the mirror modifier is getting applied after the subdivision. We want it applied before. So there's these little dots here in the top right of the modifier, and if I just click and drag it up above this one, you can see that took that seam away. So I'm going to take my subdivision down. Also, I like to turn on clipping. I think merge is on, but just in case, I don't want any vertices opening up here. So now with the mirror modifier, we're going to select the loop around the eye, and then we're going to hit Shift S. And what that'll do is that will bring up a menu to move the cursor. And I haven't explained what the cursor is. The cursor is this mechanism here. You probably noticed it. It's got a red and white dotted line here, and then an axis, or a couple axes. It's like a target. I want to move my cursor in the middle of this, like in the center. So I'm going to hit Shift S and say cursor to selected. Now the cursor is right in the middle of all of those vertices. And the reason I did that is whenever you create something, it will pop up on that cursor. So let's hit Shift A we want to get a sphere for the eye. And it brings this menu. I want a mesh and a UV sphere. Now it's huge. So we're going to scale it down. And then, so you can see the geometry here because the faces aren't smooth. I want these poles, I guess. I want them not up and down, I want them front to back. So I'm just going to rotate the sphere with the R key, and then I'm going to hold down the Control key, and you can see it's stepping the rotation. I want the poles to be like parallel with the y-axis. So we're basically just rotating it 90 degrees back that way. So that's good. And we want to bring the eye back and in. And then I also don't want it to be too close. I don't want it to be bisecting this the z-axis line here, or just the middle. I'm going to scale it up just a little bit. I want it just close enough to that, but not going over it. think that's a nice placement. We can also mirror it over this. Yeah, let's do it that way. We're gonna hit Shift S because we want the cursor back to the origin for what we're gonna do. Also, I think we want to go to Object here and apply rotation and scale. Then we're gonna hit Shift D with our eyeball selected, and that's gonna duplicate our eye. And now we're gonna right click to put it back to where it was. So it's still there. It's in the exact same spot as our other eye. But we want to flip it. We want to hit the period key. And right now we're scaling on the median point. We want to scale to the 3D cursor because the 3D cursor is in the center of the character. Let's hit 3D cursor. Then we're going to hit S, X, because we're scaling on the X axis. And then we're going to hit -1. And that will flip it over the X axis. And that gets it right in the same spot as the other eye just flipped. So now we can edit. Let's put it back to median point. Now we can edit our eye socket so that the eye is not bisecting it. And then we're going to duplicate this edge loop here. We could extrude it with the E key, but I don't want to do that. I want to hit Shift D and just get its own, and we're going to bridge it later. So I'm going to scale it down, and I want these to all be touching the eye. So there's a snapping feature up here. So I can turn on snapping, and I want it to snap to face. So like you got this little drop down here, and you can select face. Now, whatever I move, I'm gonna turn off proportional editing. Whatever I move will stick to the eyeball here, which is nice because you want the eyelid to be like the tip of the eyelid to be right on the eyeball. So now just, positioning all the points here, and we can edit this later easily. So I'm going to double click and just select that whole thing, and I'm going to hit E to extrude it, and I'm going to turn snapping off, and then I'm going to scale it down, and I'll show you what that did by going into wireframe. That just scales it inside the eye. Let's just scale this up a little bit. And then we're going to bridge these two edge loops. So like double click and then shift double click here, hit the F3 key, bridge edge loops. And let's make another loop cut in here and bring it up to kind of where the eyeball is. Now I want to create like a brow shape here. And sometimes when you add things, they won't be shaded smooth. You can see here, and all you have to do is come out of edit mode, go into object mode with your mesh selected, just right click on it and you get shade smooth, and just click that and everything will be shaded smooth. Let's do that with the eyes as well so they don't look as creepy. So with both selected, right click, shade smooth. Now they're all shaded smooth. I just want to bring this brow forward, and then I want to create more geometry for the eyelids. Let's say you create a loop cut and you don't like where you placed it. When you hit G to move, that's not the way you want to move it. So if you hit G twice, it will slide that edge loop in between the edge loops on either side. So you can get it to where you want to again. So now, actually, I think I want to add 2 edge loops here. So now I want to rotate, I want to edit, oh, here's an easy way to edit the eyelid vertices. So if I tab out and select my eyeball here and hit Shift S and say cursor to selected, I've got the cursor right in the middle of the eyeball. Now if I go back to my face mesh here, tab back into edit mode, if I hit period and have the rotation pivot around the 3D cursor and turn on proportional editing again, I can hit R to move these vertices, and if you hit it twice, it will, so if you hit it once, it'll rotate it this way. If you hit it twice, it'll rotate it this way, which is really nice. You can already see, like, this is how you could create shape keys or different morphs for eye like poses. So I just want to pull these out and edit that proportional editing. You can already see we're getting kind of like that under eyelid shape there. A little bit of separation, this like crease. It's looking like alien eyes, but we'll fix that later. I may have added too many edge loops, and you can, so to delete an edge loop, you double click, get the edge loop you want to delete, and you hit X. Before we were deleting vertices, you can come all the way down here and delete edge loop. And that'll delete an edge loop and keep your faces there, which is really nice. I'll just show that again here. Maybe it's easier. I want to delete, there's a lot of geometry back here. I was just using that so that the when I smoothed it, this wouldn't get smaller. But anyway, now I've got that edge loop selected that I want to delete. Hit X, go down to edge loops, and there you go. And let's just drag these back. We can shape the back of the head later. So let's move stuff around so this looks less alien-like. And again, this is like this is the part I get hung up on and why it takes so long, is just, you know, moving points around, especially when you don't have a reference. You're kind of just finding what you like. Now you can see you can't really see these vertices in here because they're getting tucked underneath the subdivided mesh. One thing you can do is you can toggle off on the modifiers. So I can toggle this on. So basically it shows my geometry as if it was fully subdivided here. And you can edit this way. It is a little, I don't know if I fully recommend doing it this way because it's not showing exactly what you're doing. And when you go back into the unsubdivided, it kind of like, some of the vertices will be like overlapping, and I don't know. Sometimes this is not the best way to do it. but you can kind of like turn that on, edit the vertices you can't see, and then turn it back off to smooth things out. I think if I bevel this, it might look better. So let's do that. This is another way to add edge loops. You can take an edge loop and then go up to edge and bevel it. Maybe that isn't the best idea there. It's not that bad. So this is kind of my process, not in a time-lapse setting. Sorry for being so quiet. All right, so that's not bad. Let's add a nose here. So like right now we just have like a nub, and maybe like you could go with it from here and then draw it on as a texture depending on how you're styling your character. But if you're going for more of a more detailed look, like not cartoony, a little less cartoony, I'll show you how I make a nose here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rip these vertices. So I want these three, and I'm gonna hit the V key. And that will rip the vertices. See, it breaks them open there. And then I'm gonna slide these down here. Then I'm just gonna bridge them back closed. And I'm just creating more geometry here. Let's smooth those a little bit. Maybe not that much. I'm gonna fill that. So now you see we created more geometry here. And then, let's see, I'm gonna bring this down. Actually, I might want to bring it just up a little bit. Okay. Now, I think we're gonna, so we've been in vertice selection mode, like vertex selection mode, vertices, I don't know the terminology. Been doing this for 8 years and I don't know the terminology. I think more than that, but so we're in vertex selection mode right now. There is edge selection mode and face selection mode also. And we're going to use the face selection mode. There's also a brush. So we've done the box selection tool, which is B. There's also a brush selection, which is C. I don't know the term, why it's C, but C will give you this little circle around your cursor. And you notice you can scroll up and down and make it bigger and smaller. And if you left click, you can left click and drag and kind of like paint in your selection. So I want to use that to select these. Now, the weird thing is you have to get out of the C selection tool before you do anything else. And like sometimes I'll have this on and I'll try clicking 3 to get into my side view. And I'm like, why isn't this working? And why can't I zoom in and out? It's because I'm here. So if you like what you've selected, you can right click and it will get you out of the C selection. Then you can pan and use your number pad to get your views. But yeah, that's the problem I run into sometimes. I still run into it now. So anyway, with those selected, I'm gonna extrude them with the E key. I'm gonna extrude them out, and then I'm going to smooth them down. So with face selection tool on, you notice the right click menu is different. It doesn't have the smooth vertices. It's probably because we're not in vertex selection mode. So you have to go back into vertex selection, then right click, then your smooth vertices is back. So that's something I run into as well. So now we have more geometry here to work with. We basically want to delete these faces here, and those are going to be that's going to be our nostrils. Might be helpful to just smooth all of this out, and then we can scale this down, and you can kind of see the edge flow we're working with here. It doesn't look like what we want it to, but we can make it look like what we want it to. So before we, oh, I guess we could do it now. So cats have that weird nose shape, right? So let's go back to face selection, hit the C key, and I just want to select these faces here. Maybe not that one. Maybe not. Ugh. All right, we'll see how it looks. So we're going to extrude these, and then go back to vertex selection, and let's smooth them out. And I think I don't want to smooth them out that much. So now you can kind of see we have that that cat nose shape. And also, if you notice, we have some geometry that's not shade smooth, so we'll come out and do shade smooth. And now we're back to editing, and it all looks good. Let's see here. There's a vertex I can't select. Oh, because it's not actually there. So now that we've got the geometry to work with, oh, so this is a star here. Usually you don't want stars. A star is a vertex with 6 edges coming off of it. A pole is a vertice with either 5 or 3. So here's a 5-sided pole, and I think the corner, yep. So the corner mouth here has just 3. Those are products of extruding. So I think the best thing to do is to first create an edge loop here and slide this out, slide that out, slide that out again. And now, if we delete these 2 faces here, we're going to fix this pole here. Actually, it'll make it easier if we extrude this in. Turn off proportional editing. We want to just bring that in there. And then we're going to delete these 2 faces. Nope, the faces. And then we'll pull these down, you know, extrude this. This might actually be easier if I show you this way. So we're extruding here, and now this is going to be a face, this is going to be a face, and that's gonna be a face. So let's go back to our, we can just smooth this out a little bit. And there we go. No, it's a big cat nose. Can kind of scale that down. Bring that in. And then we're just shaping what we have here. So that's adding that detail. Then we can close in. So this is what, 9 vertices? I want that to be even. I'm actually going to delete this edge loop here, and then that'll be even. And so that's 8 vertices. Now what you can do is, to close this up, you pick 2 opposite vertices, hit face, you get an edge there, Control R, and that'll put a vertice right in the middle of those. And we use edge selection tool to just select 2 opposing vertices, hit F and fill in. And there you go. Now the nose is closed up. It looks very strange. I think I want to pull the mouth corner in. I'm going to bring this up here and bring these down. I think that's more of how a cat's mouth is shaped. Yeah, it's not, this is not perfect, and I would work a lot more on this to get this into a shape that I like. You can even use sculpting, I think, to change the shape of things. Like to push and pull vertices. But I'm just box modeling for now. We have a pretty decent cat-shaped head here, and let's add some ears, and then we'll be done. So basically, you just pick out a spot where you want to extrude the ears out. And you can either just extrude them out. Actually, yeah, I think I just want to round this out, get this a nice round shape. And then I'm going to select these vertices here and just extrude. And it looks weird. I'm going to scale it down there so we have pointy shape here. And I think I just want to like smooth those out a little bit and then scale them down. There we go. That's better. All right, so we got a nice point there. Let's actually add the edge loops one at a time. So you can kind of like shape it out better, like round it out a little bit. Okay, select that one. There we go. Bring that down there. Get a nice shape. Can we create another star again? No. Okay, good. Might be a little big. There we go. And now, let me see, how do I want to do this without creating any stars? I think what we want to do is we want to extrude, because we want to create the inside of the ear here. So let's extrude all of these faces, because if we extrude, now I'll show you. If we extrude here, then we create stars, see? But if you include, see if there's faces past that pole there that we extrude, you won't get a pole there. I mean, you won't get a star, sorry. So that is the best way to do it. So we extruded, we're going to scale that down, and then we'll extrude again and inwards, and then we want this to kind of be more concaved. Get that closer to that, we're going to just hit S, Y, and hit 0 just to like flatten it out. Bring it back, you can rotate it in there, we can scale it down. And then you can push and pull vertices how you want them. You can make this a little bit bigger. Make the top a little bigger. Bring this back to kind of shallow it out. No, they're just finessing the shape again. Pushing and pulling vertices until you get what you want. I feel like I want the ears to be rotated like that more. I don't know if that's a perfect shape. I think that I pulled that down too much. It's starting to look like a hamster. Which is not bad if that's what you're going for, but I know I said I was going for a cheetah before, but I think it's just turning out to be a cat. But I think we're about done here. I think this is to a point where you have the geometry you want, and you can edit from here and get something decent. Which I keep doing. But anyway, so that's not bad. You can push and pull things out the way you want it. Let's show you how to look at the edge loops in a different way. You can come up here to this Venn diagram thing again and hit the drop down. And then down here where it says geometry, it's unchecked. And you can check that, and that'll show your edge loops. And if that's too harsh for you, you can turn the opacity down too. I use that sometimes to just see what my geometry is looking like when I'm in edit mode. But yeah, so hope you learned something there, and hopefully you can make your own characters easier. And let me know if you have any other questions on how I do stuff. Thanks for watching, guys.